pickdogs.com and sportschatplace.com, and it is Thursday, September 10th, 2020, here with your live show. We're live 7 days a week. Of course, on today's show, we've got picks in the NFL. So, of course, this is Mitch. I messed up the podcast play button, so I just have to kind of restart here. But, yeah, it's of course, Mitch from pickdogs.com and sportschatplace.com. Free picks in every single sport, every single day on those websites. But, of course, here on the live show, we go live every day going over the entire day's card. We've got NFL football. It's opening night in Kansas City. We've got college football. It's opening night for my Miami Hurricanes. We've got Major League Baseball, an abbreviated card, but not horrible. Well, not great either. But and then we've got NBA playoffs, just one game, and one NHL playoff game. So kind of a brief card, but there's at least some substance to it. And of course, my Canes are on, so for me, it's a great day. Anyways, I'm really excited about tonight's Canes opener. But let me bring in the guys. Got Brian Bittler, and we got Chris and Rod are backwards. We'll have to fix their stuff, and that's fine. This way we'll cut Chris off. Anyways, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
So what has everyone got going on today, Brian? Yesterday I got smoked in the premium, so I'm going to guess that you probably had a really good day.
I wouldn't say really good. 2-1's just okay, but I did add late play in the Raptors. That was a nice hit, but you know what? Today, I'm more excited about today. That was yesterday. So, yeah, I can tell you everybody what I got my premium pick section real quick. College football, NBA, NFL, all three plays, $29.95. Last year's number one college football handicapper, 57% of the year. I've hit 3 straight opening night NFL. I'm going to do it again tonight.
How about you, Rod?
For me, I got 7 plays up there, 7 bets. Across 5 sports, 1 NBA, 1 NHL, 1 NFL, 1 college football, and then 3 baseball.
How about you, Chris? Anyways, Chris is not only late, his sound is bad. This is why we're supposed to get together 5 minutes before the show. Anyways, we got NFL action tonight. I have a 5-pack out there. NFL, college football, NBA, Major League Baseball. It's the regular sports. So 5 picks, $30. And, of course, we have our best of the live show package. But we got NFL kicking off in Kansas City. And, one thing we saw from the Houston Texans last year, and a lot of people seem to be on the Texans in this game, heavy public action on an underdog, which is usually not a good sign. But Deshaun Watson's got a new set of wide receivers there. Cobb. He's got Brandon, the guy that changes teams every single year now, the wide receiver, Brandon Cooks. And he's got, they got David Johnson, which they traded Hopkins for, which doesn't make any sense. And, of course, their main wide receiver in Houston who I don't know. He never really makes it out of the first quarter of the first game. The guy seems to be injured all the time. And J.J. Watt, who's one of the greatest defenders to play the game when he's healthy, and Benardrick McKinney. So the Texans, they have a solid team there, but they're up in Kansas City. Arrowhead, traditionally a tough place to play, but with no fans in the stands. A little bit different scenario there, but you still got Patrick Mahomes. You still got Chris Jones in the middle of that defensive line who busted up the 49ers in the Super Bowl. I think he could have easily been the MVP. Some of the best skill position players all over the place. I mean, this Kansas City Chiefs team doesn't look to be worse than last year. Adding Clyde Edwards-Helaire at running back, they might be better. Brian, what do you think?
I think I'm going to lean to the under in this game. The Chiefs' defense is kind of underrated. I think they have a big I think both defenses come to play tonight, so I'm going to lean to the under here.
I mean, you always talk about the numbers and the people on one side or the other, and you have a massive public dog here. What do you think about that action? With so much of the public on an underdog, it's just rare, especially a Texans team that when they lost last year, every loss was double digits. I mean, they got smoked.
What I'm seeing, the site that I use, I see 43% of the bet it's on the Texans with 36% of the money. So for me, it's the other side. But me and you have been differing on some of our public betting percentages. So for me, Texans look like a sharper play, but I don't know. I can't really say for sure on that.
Yeah, I think Dana Lane nailed it last night on the 6 o'clock show. Dana said something that was really interesting because he's the #1 baseball handicapper, and he said, all the line movement and all that other stuff, it's all great and it's all kind of like gravy. He's like, but first you have to handicap the game, and it's like that's always the #1 thing. It's like first you handicap the game, then you look at the line movement. It's like, and the example that he used, which I thought was just awesome, and it's like, I love the 6 o'clock show. Even when I'm not on, I listen to the show. He's like, if you're going to go to Disney World, you got to go to Disneyland first, or else you're going to be disappointed. And I think he pretty much nailed it. And it's like he said that's why he's #1 in baseball. He handicaps the games first, and he's like, I'm not looking for a 1 or 2 point win. When it comes to line movement, I'm looking for a 10-point win. He's like, those aren't my best bets. Because where there's a 1 point, 2 point line movement, he's like, these are not the games that I'm looking at. And it was just as someone that does this professionally for a long time. It was just refreshing.
I think Dana's the smartest guy in the business, and he's very articulate, just awesome handicapper. But me and him are a little bit different. Like, when I saw that Raptors line drop about a point, I kind of knew that it was going to be a tight game. I didn't know, but
how many of the lines have moved, especially on the totals in the NBA and the bubble, where it's gone the other way? I'd say 95%. So
total, I hate totals.
I have to say that it's been the line movement hasn't really shown us much in these NBA games, but that Raptors game, and we'll get to the NBA in a second. I mean, if you're gonna officiate a game like that, it took the Celtics 8 minutes of basketball, 10 minutes of basketball, just to come back from the technical foul and the 6 points they gave the Raptors at that time. They gave the Raptors 6 points, like in the middle of the game, and then they just continued to give them points. It was like, if you're going to say that one team doesn't have a chance to win the game, then just don't even play it. It's like, I make picks that lose. I took the Marlins on yesterday's show, right? Yep, I'm man up to it. But it's like, if you're going to have a game that's 100% decided by bad officiating, then just don't even play it and just say all the bets this is how they landed, and that's it. And you see it in the NFL. You see it in all sports, and the NBA has always been pretty good about it. But last night's Raptors-Celtics game was offensive. It was offensive, man. The Celtics clearly won that game by a lot. They just gave the Raptors points. It was ridiculous. It was like the Celtics Tatum couldn't have shot any worse, and they still were going to win. They were going to win by double digits.
In the overtime, you really saw the heart of the Raptors.
It never should have even been close to overtime. The Celtics, at that point, when they called the technical foul in the third quarter and gave him 3 shots on top of it, and then they hit another 3. So it was 7 points they gave the Raptors in one possession. That was the game. That was the Celtics. It took them a very long time to come back from that. It was ridiculous. The officiating from start to finish was horrific in that game. It's like, I lose bets, and you know what? Like I said, I took the Marlins on this show yesterday. I took the Tigers too. I lost by 40-something runs in 2 games. Okay, that's how good my picks were yesterday. But I'll tell you one thing. That I've seen other games like this, in NFL games where they can't spot the ball correctly, college football games where they don't spot the ball in the right spot. It's like, just don't even bother playing the game. I don't understand how a team can't walk off the court. Yeah, I had the Celtics. Of course I did. It was horrific. It's like, and losing is part of betting. I never say, hey, I win every game or anything like that. But it's like, if you're not going to give us even a chance to win the game, then just say it right after they tip off and you have my money.
Maybe the NBA wanted a 7-game series.
Of course, here. Obviously, they needed it. They needed the 7th game.
They even switched it to put it in the primetime spot on Friday night too.
Yeah, it's like, it was ridiculous, man. It's like, why bother? It's like I've seen football games like this too, and it's usually the Patriots. I mean, I've seen it a million times, but it was frustrating to see it from the NBA. Anyways, Rod, Texans and the Chiefs. Back to the NFL here. We'll get back to the NBA as well. But Texans and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. You got what answers the Texans? These teams played at the end of last season. The Chiefs have gotten better, right? The Chiefs added to their roster and got better. The Texans traded away their best player, their best wide receiver, their whole offense. What's going to be different tonight? I mean, what was the score of that game? Was it 41-7, something like that? When these guys met in January last year, just a couple months ago.
52-31.
Yeah, 52-31. I think they spotted the Texans like 25 points or something, right?
Yep. Yeah. Is it 21-0 or something?
Yeah, something.
24-0. I don't know. It was something like that. Yeah, crazy. It
was 51-31. And
51-31.
Houston was up 24-0. Was exactly what happened. It was 24-0 in the second quarter. By halftime, the Chiefs had gotten to the lead, and they just went on from there. They just continued the hammering. Anything changed since January 12th?
Well, yeah, a lot of time of not playing football. How much of these teams really got together and played a lot of football? Not a whole lot. How much summer camp did they get? Not a whole lot. For me, this game goes over if the Texans come out and get a lead early, just like that last game. The Texans got out to a lead early, and then the Chiefs come back and blow them out. But I'm with Brian. I'm gonna lead to the under here.
Well, it's 40% capacity at the game, so it's not no fans. It's 40% capacity.
Is that 40%?
So I think that makes a difference. And Arrowhead's nice. Arrowhead's the loudest, right? Arrowhead and Seattle, the two loudest stadiums. Do you like the under there, you said?
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to go with the under here. Give me the under.
Brian. All right, Chris, what do you see here? You see anything different than we saw in January, or, and the time off, let's talk a little bit about the time off here too. It's like, we didn't see a preseason. Bill Callahan's style is kind of like, I don't really understand his offense. I never really have. But, kind of he has his quarterback kind of run around the pocket and then throw Hail Marys and hope that DeAndre Hopkins somehow grabs it, and he's not there to do it anymore. That's kind of his offense. And then, Andy Reid is like this short passing game. Like, short. But he has a guy that can throw it down the field too. Who do you think, this is an advantage to? I mean,
it's an advantage to the Texans if you want to keep. I mean, yes, Mahomes can throw the ball deep and he can get it down there, but if it's just going to be a bunch of short passes and possession, I think the Texans acquiring David Johnson for DeAndre Hopkins shows they want to switch it to more of a run-based, possession-based offense. And if that's the offense they're going to run, they're going to chew up a lot of clock. They're not going to let Kansas City have the ball. They're not going to let Kansas City on the field. So I think it benefits Houston here.
All right. I beg to differ on many of the points here, but that's okay. And
can I add one thing to the whole conversation?
Oh, absolutely.
I really think the referees are going to try to keep this game as well in hand as they can. I don't think they're going to want to see a 53-35 blowout on opening night. So I don't know. Look for some bad calls.
We've seen them before. we certainly have seen them before. Especially in these Super Bowl champions, since they've gone to the Super Bowl champion games. It used to be on Monday night. One year, the Giants, I think it was against the Bears, was like 78-0. I mean, it was like, and it's like, I've seen a bunch of them. I think, the favorite is covered in these games almost every single year, but maybe tonight is different. I just think, for me, I'm right sometimes, I'm wrong sometimes, but, you have a team that, in the Texans that kind of hasn't really gotten there. They had to do something at running back and get David Johnson because they haven't had a running back in a very long time. Last year they had Lamar Miller. He was injured, right, before the season even started. And then it was a scramble all season long to get running backs. DeAndre Hopkins wanted a lot of money, and they weren't going to pay him. At least why? It's like kind of like I think not paying DeAndre Hopkins is sort of like trading Mookie Betts. It just doesn't make any sense if you want to win football games, right? It's like if you want to win, then why are you going to trade? I mean, what are you going to get that's going to be better than that? Because DeAndre Hopkins is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, right? He's a top 5 guy. He's the guy that can make the miracle catches. I mean, his catches that aren't catches, that are out of bounds or whatever, are better than catches than 99% of the other guys can even make. I mean, you think that Odell Beckham, amazing catch that he made like that. DeAndre Hopkins makes 20 of those a game. It's like, he does those all day long. And it's like, and instead you put Randall Cobb in there. I mean, I could see, I understand I can understand the other wide receiver pickup, right? It's kind of like, he's good, he's fast, whatever. He probably mixes well with Hopkins' style, but I mean with Watson's style at QB, but I don't know.
Look for Kenny Stills to score the first touchdown in that game. That's my prop bet there.
Yeah, Kenny Stills, I mean, I think the Texans have made some curious moves, over the past few years. I mean, Laramie Tunsil for 2 first-rounders. It's like, he's not that good. I got news for you. He's not that good. He's not. Anyways, we'll move on. NFL action. Well, of course, we'll have NFL action covered Sunday. Maybe I'm going to start it. I'm doing a new show on Wednesdays and Fridays, and it's just going to be me. So Wednesdays and Fridays with Mitch, kind of like our Mondays with Mitch. Kind of get ask me any questions, but I'm thinking about maybe adding a football segment where I have, one of the guys on, and we'll just go through the card on, maybe we'll do Saturday's card on Wednesday and Sunday's card on Friday or something. I don't know. We're going on Wednesdays and Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern time every single week. And that show's subject to change the times. We'll figure it out as we go. But new show. Pretty excited about it. Anyways, my Canes are in action. We got college football. I've been talking a big game about this one, and, I'm not wavering one bit. I think Miami absolutely smashes UAB. I think they make a statement that we're back thing. I think is a big thing. Manny Diaz, like me, grew up exactly how I did. I mean, his father was the mayor of Miami, so a little different than me, right? But Manny Diaz, his father was the mayor of Miami, growing up there. And he grew up in the stands of the Orange Bowl just like I did. And when you grow up in the stands of the Orange Bowl, it's a different type of football fan than you have across the rest of college football. We're not the rah-rah Michigan fans. We're not the, rah-rah Alabama fans. Or, we're not any of those things. We are Canes fans, and we are a little different and a little harder to tolerate, and I understand all those things. And it's like, because the Miami mentality has always been us against the world. It's always been we're never going to get the respect that, that these other guys get just having a season. We never are going to get that. So we have to earn it every time out. And the way that we earn that is by beating up on everybody else. And we haven't been able to do that for quite some time. Haven't been able to do it. Haven't had the guns. A couple of years ago, Mark Richt put together a team that looked like they were able to do it, but they didn't have the depth. And then by week 10, week 11, they had lost half their roster, and they were depleted. By the time they got to the ACC championship game against Clemson, they were a shell of the team that they had just, a month earlier that blew out Notre Dame. But this year, Miami, a little bit different. You bring in a quarterback, that's done it all already. And, I mean, he stays healthy. I don't think there's much that's going to stop this Canes team from hitting the ACC championship game and hitting it undefeated, well, except for the Clemson game, right, that they have during the regular season. But I could see Miami and Clemson both being undefeated heading into that game. And with Miami quickly moving up the rankings after tonight when they see what's in store for them. I know a lot of people say some things, well, Miami's this, Miami that, whatever. I say come down and take a look at our trophy case in Coral Gables, and you tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead, Brian. Tell me I'm wrong. I know you're gonna.
In this game, I see a lot of fast-paced action. I think both teams are going to put up some points. So I'm going to lean to the over here. I think even though the public's on the over, I'm going to take the over as well.
How about you, Rod?
I agree. I think this is definitely going to be lopsided. Miami's coach does like to play defense, though. How many points can UAB help you to get the over? I don't see them letting them score 28 points here. I'm going to take the under. Give me the under 55.
Manny Diaz was the defensive coordinator at Texas, of course, and then the defensive coordinator at Miami. Miami was 4th in the nation in tackles for a loss last season, despite being just 6-7. Chris?
Exactly. I can see 41-10. 41-10.
Miami defense traditionally, see what Manny Diaz is bringing back to Miami is traditional Miami football. It's going to take a little while. The first time we built traditional Miami football, it took 5 years under Howard Schnellenberger, right? And it took 5 years, and that's what it takes, you know. It's a different style of football. It is super aggressive on defense. It is man coverage, blitz everybody, and then offensively, it's, you know, just speed everywhere. And I think that's what we're going to see from this Canes team. I really do. Chris, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm really high on Miami this year after reading into it. You know, and I always liked Derek King from his time in Houston, and Mitch, I think you nailed it right on the head. I think this Clemson Miami game is going to see 2 undefeated teams in it later in the season. So, and I think it starts with a blowout over UAB here, who gave up 35 to a Central Arkansas team that had a lot less talent. So, give me Miami here.
I could see this. I could see this being just absolutely
massacre.
Yeah, I could see it too. Mitch, read my comment. Yeah.
What was the total for this game? 55?
55.
I could easily see Miami getting to that on their own.
I could see that too. You know, Derek King, and I know I'm hanging a lot on a guy who was injured, you know, too. So, you know, you never know if he's going to hold up. But, you know, this guy in the scrimmage, you know, threw for like, you know, and ran and did all those things. And that was against the Miami defense. So I can only imagine what this one's going to be. You know, traditionally, Hurricane football has always started like the good teams, and you know we haven't seen them. This was a 6-7 team that lost to Louisiana Tech in their bowl game last year, so we obviously haven't seen it. But traditionally, Miami football starts with that these games are the layups. You know, Miami went through a run. You know, when you look at the Miami runs that they've had in their history, you know, you know, two of the two longest winning streaks of the modern era, you know, that they've had. And then if you look at the other streaks that they had, you know, the 8 out of 9 national championship games in a row, you know, those type of streaks, the 59 game home winning streak, all those things, they all start with these games are the layups. You know, when you look at those runs that Miami had, that 8 out of 9 national championship games, You look at who they lost, the 5 losses that they had. Florida State twice, Notre Dame, Washington, and it was like another team like that. You know, that was like, and that Washington team, you know, had won a national championship. Florida State, Notre Dame, Washington, I forget what the other one is, but it wasn't like, you know, it was somebody like in that ballpark. Anyways, you guys know where I stand on this one. Not a lot of mystery, of course, but I will say, we ain't no dream team. We're your worst nightmare. Go Canes, baby.
You're going to be upset if they'd happen to lose outright or something like that.
Oh, if they lose outright, believe me, I was upset when they lost to Louisiana Tech in the bowl game. I've been upset as bad as the teams. I was upset through, you know, a lot of times in the last, you know, 15 to 20 years. You know, I've been upset a ton of times.
There's no way they're going to lose. There's no way they're going to lose. But.
Well, I didn't think they would lose to Louisiana Tech either, but it's like the issue that Miami has had is that they've had great defenses, but the offense has hung them out to dry. They've hung the defense out to dry. They've hung them out there. It's like you can't go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, interception, 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 interception. And I think that's the difference here is that you have a difference maker at quarterback. You have a real difference maker. You have a guy who's done it before. You have a guy who's looked down the throat of Oklahoma and beat their ass by himself. He beat their ass. Look at Houston's, the last time he played the full season. Look at who they beat. I
think Houston went through a stretch where they were covering a bunch at the beginning of last season before he got hurt.
No, but look at 2 years ago. Houston. That's when he played, and that was his big year. And we'll take a look at their schedule and look at his numbers in those games. So here's and like I said, there's no guarantees in sports, but I'm gonna say this is a stone cold lock of death, right? We've seen horrible officiating just last night affect the outcome of a game. So we know it can happen.
I like horrible officiating when it benefits me.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't? But at the same time, it's like I actually would rather win it fair and square.
Oh, we'll see you in Game 7 in Toronto and Boston. Oh.
Anyways, I'll get back to his records at Houston. Let's get into the NBA. Just, horrific last night. It was unwatchable crap, that Celtics-Raptors game. It makes you not want to watch the NBA anymore. Yeah, you should be on this. You can have a show. That's the beauty of YouTube, is you could have a show. You could have a real name, and you could have a real picture. You could do a lot of things. So go ahead, man. You could have your own show. You don't need to be on this one. You don't need to be on ours. We only have real people here. You have to actually look into a camera and talk. Can't be like some fake picture and fake name. Anyways, Brian, Lakers and Rockets. Lakers kind of just toyed with them last game. James Harden has not really showed up offensively in this series. Russell Westbrook has had his struggles, and now the Lakers are starting to go. When the Rockets figured, well, if we shut down LeBron and Anthony Davis, which they couldn't do anyway, we're probably in good shape. Now Rondo decides maybe he'll be vintage Rondo. It's like really took it to him, right? It's like, where has this guy been? The last 8 years. So I can't. The last time Rondo was relevant, right, was against we lost Chris. Last time
when he played for the Boston Celtics, I believe he was relevant.
Right, that's what it was when they beat the Lakers in the championship. But let's see what we got. Gonna have to change. I gotta somehow find how to change the scene because Chris has just bailed on us somehow.
Rondo kind of reminds me of Lowry in today's Toronto Raptors. Just a gritty player that takes it to the hoop.
Well, he sure didn't look like that. Now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he does. Watched him shoot brick after brick after brick for a whole season, a whole couple seasons.
Yeah, it's been terrible. It's been real bad. But what do you think tonight in this one?
I think you're going to see a defensive struggle. I think you're going to see the best performance Harden's had in the playoffs. So give me the under here. I think it goes under the total.
Dodgers didn't cover. The Dodgers? Doggers? I don't know. What
the Doggers?
The Dogs didn't cover, maybe.
No, it's because the Dodgers covered the run line, right?
Yeah, I thought they won 6-4.
Yeah, something like that.
In extra innings? Or something like that.
Yeah, this guy's got to go. Anyways, it's raining in Kansas City. Yeah,
That's always good for
I thought that David Johnson for Hopkins was probably one of the worst trades in the NFL as well. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. A couple of years ago, David Johnson was the guy, right? I mean, Brian's a fantasy guy that people were acting like it was Herschel Walker or something.
Last year, David Johnson was my number 1 pick in fantasy football, and I still won that league, but that was a horrible pick.
Chris's power went out.
Is that what he's saying?
That's what he just messaged me. Yeah, his power went out.
Well, we'll go without him. Rod, what do you think in this one? Houston and the Lakers.
I think the first 3 quarters are a tight, close battle, and then in the fourth, LeBron turns like Kawhi and just turns beast and puts Houston on the mystery. Give me the Lakers. Harden will gas. Harden will hit the fourth quarter and gas because he'll try too hard. He'll try to do it all. He'll try to carry the whole team on his shoulder, and he'll gas, and LeBron will just run right over him in the fourth.
Fuller is the new wide receiver in Houston. This guy is hurt all the time. All the time. He's the type of guy who walks out of the locker room.
I got a splinter.
Yes, he pretty much is the hangman type guy, you know?
I think Deshaun Jackson's the guy that's hurt all the time.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Jackson, at least he's had years of where he actually did play.
Yep.
I wonder if Chris will be back. All right, so we got Major League Baseball action. I'm just not sure, you know. I mean, after last night's officiating, it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, it's like we need to talk to the refs, I guess, and see who's gonna win, because it's not decided by the better team or the play on the court.
I think you might see a similar result, but the refs keeping Rockets in it. But that's just me.
It's 2-1. It's not 3-1, right?
Well, if you go down 3-1, you're basically toast. But.
Yeah, but it was 3-1. You know, it's like it's not an elimination game like the Celtics were.
Yeah, no, not yet.
So we got Major League Baseball afternoon. The Tigers back on the field after scoring 19 runs, or after getting 19 scored on them. Tarek Skubal, it's still, 19 runs, whatever, 28 runs. It only counts as one, and just like, I had, I don't even know who I had. I had the Cubs, right? Yu Darvish, and it's like I lost. Gave up 3 runs in the first inning, and that was the game. That is no different than losing 19-0 as far as my ticket went. Jack Flaherty's been sensational for the Cardinals. Skubal, the Tigers are pretty high on him. It's a doubleheader. It's game 1. What are you looking at here, Brian?
I think the Cardinals take both ends of the doubleheader. This is usually the time of year where the Cardinals start heating up. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Cardinals.
Yep, Wednesday and Fridays. Free for all. These guys. Got how about you, Rod?
I'm gonna take a shot with Skubal here. I think maybe Detroit. I'll bounce back after their 19-0 shellacking. You give me Detroit here.
It's gonna be. I like the under 6. Got Oakland against Houston. Minaya up against Urquidy. Oakland just minus 145 in this one. Seems like a lot of value there, Brian.
Definitely a lot of value with Oakland. They cashed from me yesterday. It was a little high juicer that I took, and I think Minay's been pitching better his last 3 or 4 starts. So I'm going to go with Oakland today.
Yeah, I agree with Brian there. Give me Oakland. I think Oakland squeezes out a win here.
These T-shirt shippings to Europe and Canada take weeks and weeks and weeks. Rod, how long did it take for you to get your shirt? Like a month, right?
About a month, yeah. Over 3 weeks, anyways.
Yeah, and it takes a long time.
Well, because it hits customs, and then customs keeps it for who knows how long.
The Hurricanes schedule, they play the ACC, right? They play Florida State, Clemson. That's who they play. That's their divisional
So
schedule.
they have North Carolina.
They had Michigan State on there, but they had Michigan State, but that game was canceled because Michigan State didn't want to play them. I mean, the schedules are going to be off. The only, you want to talk about easy schedules. Alabama, for some reason, never draws anybody from the other side. Never, right? This year they have Georgia. But when's the last time they drew Georgia? It was like Saban's first year as head coach. It had to be at least 12 years ago. Was the last time Alabama drew Georgia from the other side. And they haven't drawn Florida at all. So you want to talk about weak schedules.
Well, they usually have to beat Georgia in the championship, SEC championship, though.
Maybe the last year or two, but not traditionally. It's been Florida. No? But it doesn't matter. The regular season games, Alabama plays like Western Alabama. They play like those teams out of conference. They'll play like one beginning of the season game, and it's like it was Duke last year. And it was Louisville the year before that. But they act like it's like this main event because they played at a neutral site.
Chris is back.
Welcome back, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
It's nice to have my power back on.
You even sound better. But so we're just at the Astros against the A's. A little suspicious line here. What do you think?
Give me Oakland. I know the line does look suspicious, but I don't like Jose Urquidy. I'll take Oakland here. I think the A's know if they win this game, they can take a big step towards locking up that division.
Got Texas against the Angels. Brian, you like your Angels at minus 170?
No, not at 170. I've been getting just crushed again with the Angels after they won a couple in a row. I started looking at it.
Well, because they won those games at home, and they're 6-15 on the road this season.
But in this one, I think the Rangers have all the value. It's tough because looks like a lot of public on the Rangers too. But I'm gonna take them and give them a chance.
It shows 66% on the Angels. Brian, Rod, what do you think?
Yeah, give me Texas here. I don't know, those guys are 0. The pitcher that's starting, he has yet to win at Globe Life Field. He's 0-4 with a 6.97. But I'm not taking the Angels. Ugh, I don't even care if it's Dylan Bundy. Definitely not a bet game I am betting.
How good is Miami's defense? Well, they've had one of the top defenses in college football for about the last 50 years. Look at every NFL roster. Look at the Miami defensive players across the NFL at every single position. And I'll tell you, that's how good the Miami defense is. Chris?
How many times we see the turnover chain?
Yeah, it's like about 150. Yeah. Even, it's like you can go like, year by year by year by year by year. And it's like, you could, I don't know. The defense has never been the issue.
No.
Chris, how about the A's or the Rangers and the Angels?
Give me the over. I think Bundy has a regression start here, and Kyle Gibson's been getting shelled all year, so give me the over.
Okay. Got speaking of overs, Jordan Zimmerman's pitching today against Austin Gomber. Jordan Zimmerman just not good. Not good. I'm looking at these Hurricanes in the NFL. That's why we're doing this. And I'm telling you, almost every single team has one. At least one. And most of these guys are stars, Brian, what do you think of Jordan Zimmerman, Austin Gomber?
George Zimmerman used to be my go-to fade. I think he might be the highest paid worst pitcher in baseball if it's a competition. So I'm going to take the Cardinals minus 1.5 here.
Oh, my sleeper for NFL fantasy football is DJ Dallas. I totally forgot about him yesterday. He's my sleeper.
What team does he play for?
Seahawks. How about you, Rod? Gomber,
I agree. Give me the Cardinals on the run line. I think you might be able to go 2.5 in this one. I think Cardinals are going to beat up Detroit game 2.
Chris?
Yeah, I'll lay the touchdown with the Cardinals here. I think this is a beat down from start to finish. Close to what we saw from the Tigers yesterday, even in a 7-inning game.
You think the Tigers would just buy out Zimmerman and release him? I don't know why they send him out there.
Austin Voth against Robbie Erlin. Chris? Is the Voth.
I cannot tell you how hard I laughed audibly at 2 a.m. when I saw Austin Voth pitching for the Nationals. Just after the Braves had scored 29 runs, and I said, we could get close to that, but I love the over here. I absolutely love the over.
Yep, Miami was 90th in offense last year. Anyways, Brian, how about you? Austin Voth and Robbie Erlin. This is a gem.
No, I agree with Chris. I'm going with I think it gets easily over 15 runs in this game, so I'm going to take the over.
This should be one of those England totals from last year.
Yeah, I agree. Give me the over. Big pile of runs coming. Piles of them.
That might be the understatement of the year so far.
I'm not putting the mortgage on Miami. I got a few mortgage payments on it, though. Brady Singer against Aaron Savali in Cleveland. The Royals kind of showing people why you don't bet minus 250. I mean, this is what they've been doing all season.
Yeah, I'm not a big Singer fan, but in this one, I'm going to take a shot with the Royals. I mean, that's a lot of plus money there, and they're competitive with Cleveland.
How about you, Rod?
No, Indians bounce back here today. Give me the Indians on the run line. I don't like Singer. Singer does not look good. He looked horrible his last start out. He gave up 10 hits and big whack of runs. Yeah, no, give me the Indians here.
There's a comment here. Every fan base thinks there's unique, but we have the 59-game home winning streak that they don't have. Right? We have the longest home winning streak, so which means that my friends and I have the longest home tailgate winning streak also. Let's go with that. Anyways, Chris?
Yeah, I've been burned by the Indians a couple times in this series. I'll take a shot with the Royals. A lot of plus money.
Got the Marlins, Sandy Alcantara against Jake Arrieta. Marlins didn't waste anything yesterday.
I think you see another good performance. Marietta actually had one good one this season. Last time out, went 7 innings. I think Marlins pitching staff pitches well today after yesterday. So take the under.
I agree. Give me the under 9 here as well.
Yeah, I'm on the under as well. I like Alcantara, and I think Arrieta does have a decent start here, so give me the under.
Okay, we've got the Red Sox and the Rays. I like the Marlins in that one, too. We got the Rays and the Red Sox. Mike Kickham where it hurts up against Josh Fleming, who didn't look so unbeatable last time.
I'm going to lean to the Rays minus 1.5 here against a bad Boston team. Just a lean. I'm not rushing to bet this one.
Rod?
Yeah, I take the Rays here. Give me the Rays minus 1.5.
Give me the over. I think we see double digits in this one.
I think we easily see double digits. Speaking of double digits, Garrett Cole's pitching today up against Keegan Aiken. The Yankees a game now over 500. That's what, see what $35 million a year gets you. Take a look at the latest on Garrett Cole after last time. Shellacking. He is up to a 3.63 ERA, 4-3 record, 70 Ks, 14 walks, and an opponent 277 on base percentage against them. Ryan, you want to pay $35 million for a 277 on base percentage?
No, and I don't want to lay minus 250 on the Yankees today. Give me the Orioles plus money. Love it.
Keegan Aiken was large and in charge last time against the Yankees. Rod?
Yeah, he won his last start against the Yankees, I believe.
He was he was large and in charge. He dominated them. I mean, I think how many hits did they get? Let's see. Take a look at the box score. He is absolutely stormed up. 3 hits, 8 Ks, 4 walks, 91 pitches. No runs.
So I'll take Baltimore here.
Spread knowledge likes the Orioles too. Chris?
Yeah, I'm with everybody in this one, like the Orioles as well.
All right. Got the Reds and the Cubs, man. I took the Cubs yesterday. Yu Darvish gave up a 3-run home run in the first inning, and that was the game. That was the whole game, was that. Sometimes it works that way. Brian, what do you think?
I got taken out by the Cubs, too, yesterday. They suckered me in. Not today. This is a premium pick for me. I'm going to go with the Reds here. I think Sonny Gray has a dominant performance on the mound.
How about you, Rod? Cubs bounce back or Sonny Gray?
I'm going to take the Cubs here. I think the Cubs bounce back and get a win.
And how about you, Chris?
I'm going to take the Cubs as well. I think this price is trying to beg you to take Sonny Gray, so I'll take the Cubs and the plus money.
All right, we got the Padres up against the Giants. Padres minus 171 here against the Giants team that has not been bad. Cahill's pitched pretty well. Paddock, I think, has been a little erratic. I like the Giants in this one. This was a late line, or else it probably would have been a premium for me. How about you, Brian?
Yep, late line, and Cahill, he's surprised me so far this season. I didn't expect him to be as proficient as he's been. I'll go with the Giants here. That's money.
Hi, Mitch. I hope you're well. Would you consider MLS picks in your daily podcast, too, if there was absolutely no other sports at all on?
I'll take the under 9 here. We have a nice pitch. There's a little battle going today. Give me the under 9.
How about you, Chris?
I'm going to lean towards the over. I know Cahill's dealing with a hip issue, and I think if he leaves early, I think they've got Drew Smiley pegged as the long reliever, and I don't like Drew Smiley, and Chris Paddock's giving up a few runs, so I like the over.
So Al Niños can't wait till right before the game to bet on the Dodgers. So there's value at minus 1.5 at minus 165 betting it the night before. I totally don't understand that comment. I wish I did. There's just no value at all in the Dodgers. I mean, zero. I mean, the night before, the line was minus 1.5, minus 165 on last night's game, which it took them till the very end. I mean, it was a nail-biter all the way. It wasn't like a slam dunk. Let's call it what it is. Brendan Cooks. Yeah, that's who it is. He's like, Brendan Cooks has become this renter receiver, right? He just moves to a different team every single year. And the thing is, he's one of those guys who's he's good, right? He's good. He's not like an elite wide receiver, but he's kind of like a B plus, right? And it's like, but every year he's on a different team. He must make a ton of money. He must make a ton. He's a hired gun. You know, he gets a new contract every year. His agent gets a workout, man. His agent earns that 10%. But I'm sure he gets way more than that 10%. Changing teams every single year. It's risky. get injured, it's like you got nothing to fall back on. He's a smaller guy, too. Dustin May against Madison Bumgarner. This one's at Arizona. I think when I did the video, I thought it was at L.A., but it's actually at Arizona.
I think this is Bumgarner's best start of the year, which isn't saying much, but I'm going to lean to the under 9.5 here.
He kind of always gets up for the Dodgers, traditionally in his career. Rod?
Yep.
Yeah, give me Arizona here. I'll take a shot with Arizona.
Chris?
Yeah, Bumgarner's having a terrible year, but I think if there's one start he's going to get up for to sort of turn things around, have a nice story come out of it, I think it's this one. So give me Arizona.
We send shirts to Moscow. I don't know how much it would cost. I guess if your super chat was high enough, I would.
I think 10 rubles.
I don't know. I'll tell you, those European ones cost a fortune. It costs like $25 to send one to England, you know? And then they have to pay taxes on it once they get there. It's like you're better off having them printed there for yourself. Anyways, that covers Major League Baseball for today. We got one NHL game. That is it for today. Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't know, Dogs have kind of ruled the roost in the NHL this season, but it's been a little chalky lately. Tampa Bay Lightning, who can go suck it, ended up winning, and they didn't cover any puck line, which a lot of people had them on. But Rod, what's your opinion here?
For me here, Dallas bounces back and gets themselves a win here. They just looked a little bit sloppy last game. They cleaned that up, come back hard here. Give me Dallas.
I thought yesterday was a really tough day, but I only gave out 3 games. So I knew, like, when I look at a card, I can say, like, today is probably not the best day, and that's when you usually see it, when I have very few plays. I don't love today's card either, to be honest with you. It's just I wanted to have an NFL and NBA and all that other stuff. I wanted to do it. And that's what people expect of me that have the longer term packages. Chris, what do you think here? You think the Stars bounce? I mean, this could be a good series.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good series. I like Dallas to bounce back as well. I think that's where the value is. We're getting decent prices with a Dallas team. I think this game's almost closer to a coin flip than a lot of people think. So give me Dallas here.
I'll tell you what, it's a consensus. I got Dallas too. All the value of Stars today. Get it done.
Miami defense has not been the best over the last 10 years, let alone 50. I would say consistently across the board. If you look at the best defenses over the last 50 years, like just combine the last 50 years of college football and say who have been the best defenses, I would say Miami was probably number 1. Like overall, if you take the body of work of the last 50 years, I would say that Miami is number 1. I would say Alabama is probably 2. And I think when you look at NFL players drafted over that period, I think it's going to read exactly the same way in the first round. And NFL players that went on to play in the Hall of Fame from those schools, I think it's going to read exactly the same way too. And I think you look at national championships played for, and it reads exactly the same way too. All righty. So time for the parlay section of the show. Man, we got so many comments. Someone said, that I couldn't keep up with the comments, during when they're coming out because, this is what happens when you have 600 people watching your show. Just, it's not like I have stopped with the comments at all, for 1 second. Our comments get aggravated. Here's a super chat. Thank you, Robert. Send me your name, address, and shirt size. I'll send you a T-shirt just like the one I'm wearing. I'll be tailgating here in Maui. It won't be tonight. It'll be this afternoon. 6-hour time difference. So that the games start super early here, which I like. So that 3 o'clock live show that we'll be doing tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern, that's actually at 9 o'clock my time, and this show starts at 4:30 a.m. my time. Well, Chris, it's that time of the show. Time for your parlay. What do you think?
So I'm going to go 3 dogs. For my bird cage, I'm going to go with the Royals, the Orioles, and the Diamondbacks. I checked on the parlay calculator. $20 gets you about 27 times your money.
How about you, Rod?
For me, I'm going to go all MLB. I'm going to go Cubs money line, Cardinals game 2 -1.5, and the Orioles on the money line.
10 rubles is 13 cents.
I like you can pay me in rubles next month. I like rubles.
I'd like to know what Al Niños' returns are on the Dodgers this year, because he takes them every single game. I'd love to know what your returns are. I'm sure they're negative on that, on just the Dodgers. I know your other picks, you did whatever, but I'm going to guess on the Dodgers you're negative one. Anyways, Brian?
I'm going to take the Orioles, Phillies, and Reds 3-game parlay there.
Taking Miami, and Miami. That's going to be my parlay. Anyways, this is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. We'll have a great day. And, of course, I'll see you guys tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm on Thursdays on the live show, on the 6 p.m. live show. So I'm one of the guests tonight with Tony T and the guys. So I'll see you guys at the 6 o'clock live show. They're going to go out tons of picks on that show. I'm going to talk about the Miami game, though, every second that they let me speak. It'll be close to kickoff then. So be sure to join me. If you want to hear me talk more about Miami and show off my ticket stub collection.
No pennant collection of the Miami Hurricanes?
No, I have my ticket stub collection of the
programs.
The 59-game home winning streak ticket stub collection. And that's the longest home winning streak in the history of college football. Didn't lose a home game.
They got scheduled a hard opponent at home now, maybe.
Notre Dame, Oklahoma 3 times. Oklahoma 3 times. That's before they were in the Big East.
That's true.
When Miami, before they were in the Big East, they were independent. Everybody played them because they were terrible before then, and schedules were done 10 years out back then. So, if you look at the Miami schedules back then, they're all Notre Dame, Penn State, Florida. Every single year was like that, Oklahoma. And they swept them. That's how you go from 0 to hero and win national championships. Anyways, we could talk about this all day. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have a great day. Be sure to smash the like button. And, of course, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Getting closer and closer to that goal of 10 million subscribers. Have a great day. And, of course, we'll try and act more professional tomorrow.